It's time for speech evaluations. Let's look at our speeches and how our speakers did. First speech was by Toastmaster Hizbullah. He will be evaluated by our speech evaluator one, Toastmaster Wilte. Toastmaster Wilte, can you please come up on stage and help us to know how did the speaker did?
Therefore, only Toastmasters Raghu. Both eyes, Toastmasters Hizbullah. Your first icebreaker speech, I would say that there's a long list of quality of a good speech. If I'm going to go down the list, probably we'll be here until tomorrow. So I'm going to shortlist a few things that I love about your speech. There are three things. The very first one, the great bull. Guess what? The moment when I received this evaluation form and I see your speech title, I was thinking, what are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk about a story about bull? And eventually, I only realized that it's a transformation process that you have gone through together with your brother. That is a very good topic selection. Second one, I like the way how you start off your speech by sharing us a statement with humor, where I can observe our friends in the room here. They do laugh when you say, it doesn't matter in size, but it matters inside. That is very nicely done. The third thing I like about your speech is the power of the usage of language. Throughout the speech, I managed to capture the usage, like for example, stand like a log, like a domino effect. So all this usage of language is powerful, and it has bring your speech to a very descriptive and also flowery usage of language. Very nice. Now, Toastmasters Hizbullah. I can see your speech is definitely a good one, and see how could we make it from good to great. The very first one, I realized that you have a number of wonderful gestures throughout our speech, and it's definitely purposeful. The only thing is, remember, we are in this virtual environment. So a few things to take note of. The very first one is your virtual gestures. What I mean by virtual gestures is try to keep yourself some distance away from the camera so that your hands can be projected via the camera. The second one, of course, you do have good eye gestures, eye contact. The eye contact is with the audience. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to us virtual gestures, if I maintain my eye contact with the audience, like what I'm currently doing, do you see me looking at you or looking on the screen? It's looking on the screen, right? So just bear in mind that today, if let's say you are doing a virtual gestures, look into the camera, and that is where you are able to maintain the connection with us. The second suggestion that I'd like to suggest to you is, yes, you have a wonderful speech. I love the speech. I love the message that you bring over to us. Just remember one thing. In every speech, it'd be great if, let's say, we could have a call to action at the end of the speech. So you have a wonderful, powerful message of how could we embrace ourselves to make ourselves better. Why not you call us to appreciate what we have currently and make ourselves even better? Not you only be the great bull, but every one of us be the great bull. All in all, Toastmasters Hizbullah, for your first icebreaker speech, you just nail it on the spot, and it's definitely a bull's eyes. So if I'm gonna say a long list of suggestions just now, which you have done well, and also just bear in mind of the gestures virtually, and also the call to action in your speech. I hope that my evaluation could serve the pair of shoes in your Toastmasters journey to walk you through for the remainder journey. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Wilte. Well, I will talk about general observations in the end, but one thing I will tell you for first speaker is there's a lot of body movements. So this is something that I observed in my wife while she gives speeches. Avoid moving just like that. Try to keep a control of it if necessary. So that is the only point of I have found within you. Otherwise, you did a very good job, as our evaluator has talked about. Now, next speaker is our Toastmaster Nazira, and she talked about coffee or tea. By the way, I love tea more than coffee. But though if I take tea, I can't sleep that day, and if I take coffee, I sleep immediately. With that, let me call the second evaluator of today, which is our Toastmaster Joseph Benedict, who is joining us from Bangalore today. Over to you, Toastmaster Joseph. You're on mute, sir.
I will be evaluating Zainab's speech. Hello?
Nazira, Toastmaster Nazira.
Oh my God. Because first of all, I did not get the agenda, and nobody helped me to find out whose speech I have to, this one.
No problem. I think if you're not taking the notes, I have taken few notes and I'll try to keep it very crisp. Are you okay with that, Toastmaster Joseph?
Yeah, if you want, I can do for Zainab if you are.
I think for Jaina, we already have one evaluator.
Okay.
So we'll go with that. That
Sorry
is
for
fine,
that
actually.
one, because
That's okay, Joseph. It is human to error. And also we're in virtual environment, so that is okay. Toastmaster Nazira, you're certainly an eloquent speaker. But what I would say is, I would evaluate in few criteria. More critical feedback is what I would give. When you ask a question, whether you like tea or coffee, when you put question, try to put it something like a yes or no or one line question.
Excuse me. I can do that one for her if you don't mind. I can go for her this one because I listened to that one. Also.
Who's that? I'm Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I can evaluate, no problem.
Sure, go ahead.
Toastmaster Zahira. Your speech, Toastmaster Zahira, is amazing. You have chosen a topic in your iceberg speech as a tea or coffee. And you have really well explained about the emotion that you get out of drinking tea, either tea or coffee. It is well explained. At the same time, you also defined the several moods of this drink, particularly the tea or the coffee, whenever there is a sort of socialization. That was amazing. And the other part of it is that you have also mentioned other drinks that changes the mood of person who are really engaged in conversation for a short term or a long term. These sort of what you can say the amazing result that you have noted down over these few drinks, which is a social drink, I would say, are really great. You have well drafted speech, well delivered it, and also it is very clearly spoken. In the very first icebreaker speech, you are so clear. Your rest of the speech will be definitely a great thing. You will get a great result out of it. The only thing I would suggest, if you like, is as a beginner of the icebreaker, you are supposed to deliver the speech by standing. Are you standing? I don't know. I remember you're not standing. But that would be an ideal way of beginning your icebreaker speech. And the second thing is you have not given any of your background about your family, education, or all those things. You only spoke about all the socialization of your own way of life. That is what you have only said. That is very good part of it. But that would be adding a spice to your speech when you talk about your parental things as well as the educational attainment and so on and so forth. But however, your speech is well delivered and I really appreciate that. I would like to hear once again your speech in the manner you have delivered, which is very, very acceptable to the audience as well. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Joseph. Third speech was by Toastmaster Kathur, and she will be evaluated by Toastmaster DTM Alicia.
Okay, unmute myself. Okay, thank you. Kauta, this speech is about organizing your speech. The focus is to write a speech and deliver a speech that have both opening, body, and conclusion. It will be good that you have a message. You have chosen a challenging topic. Your disadvantage is not everyone have read these two books. When people have not read these two books, it is quite difficult for them to understand. If I understood, I did not read these two books. If I have understood you correct enough, in a nutshell, you are trying to relate the totalitarian system represented by these two books, Orwellian and Huxley, right? Then you compare to the social media, which I thought it was very interesting. Nonetheless, you were kind of off balance. You talk a lot about the two books, but you not enough on the social media. At the end, I didn't know your conclusion. What was your message? You started in your opening, you started by defining the word dystopia. It is good because maybe people don't understand this word. However, I would like to suggest that you probably want to give a nutshell concept of what you are trying to debate or argue or trying to present the message. What is that in these two books? What is the idea you really want to present, to deliver, want the audience to know? What is it that in these books and what do you want to read? So the message is not very clear. The conclusion also not clear. I did not hear a strong conclusion. That is why I wasn't sure. Other than your speech, it's about your delivery. I would like to also suggest some room for improvement in terms of your delivery. Your positioning, if you can, like me, center, see yourself more, because you were kind of a lot of room above your head, right? And then the position is not quite centered. It is very important that you have a right position. Your eye contact, because of the way you project yourself, your eye contact not directly to the pinhole of the camera. You kind of look down. I don't know whether you have really looked at the audience or not. Your voice, quite the speed of your voice and the tones of your voice, the volume of your voice is also a little too fast and a little monotonous. Yes, you will come in a high tone most of the time, but no variation. And you spoke quite fast. Yeah, if you can slow down a little bit and vary your tone a little bit, have your eye contact fixed, and also position yourself, your delivery would be good. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, DTM Alicia. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Mufaro, and evaluator is Toastmaster Uma, joining us from Malaysia.
Hello, I cannot start my camera. Zoom Master, could you help me to start my camera?
Hold on a second. Just let me try to pin you.
Yeah, it's showing that cannot start video.
Yeah. Yeah. I hold on. It's weird. But can you see my prompt on this?
Okay, now I can see. Can you
All right.
guys see me?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Let me just. Okay, it's showing cannot start video.
I see. Maybe there's some I maybe there's some bugs here in the Zoom platform, perhaps. It's okay. Maybe we can just carry on with even though the video cannot be turned on. I think there is some technical issue over there. But
Okay, in that case, I can wait because I feel like starting video is very important for the
okay, all right.
for
Hold on
my
a second.
evaluating. I'm okay. Maybe we can go on with the fifth evaluator and try to fix my thing.
Sure, Uma, we'll do that. We'll go with the fifth speech.
Yeah.
Which is
Thank
given
you.
by Toastmaster Jaina, and it will be evaluated by Toastmaster Shadija.
Okay, 1 second. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah?
you're audible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Toastmaster Zainab, if you believe in synchronicity, then must I say that your speech is an extension of my table topic speech. What I really, really loved as an icebreaker of yours was that you picked a very, very catchy speech. The speech title itself said and portrayed how intelligent of a person you are. And without a doubt, I will certainly agree that you are a very intelligent girl. You had good hand gestures, and your choice of words and sentences were very eloquent. Kudos to you on that. I also love the way you actually gave the gasp expression. When you gasped, you gave us an engaging view of your speech. You got us locked in. Then on, you went to beautifully use sentences such as turned off the trigger, which was reflection, which got me thinking, does trigger really get turned off? It does. And that was a fantastic line to use in your speech. Next, before I could conclude and say that, okay, this is all she has, you went ahead and gave the audience a very good quote from Kung Fu Panda, of course. I know my movies. Yesterday is a history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift, and that is why it's called the present. All of this flawlessly delivered, absolutely stunning. Here are the features that you may want to improve in your upcoming speech because you've just broken the ice in presentation mastery. And I can tell you the journey is going to get more and more exciting after this. Point number 1, when you said that quote, I was expecting you to be as expressive, as animated as that wise tortoise in the cartoon. Because darling, if you're going to quote any famous person, and mind you, that tortoise is famous. He's as famous as Yoda. You could have paused and brought in the feel of that quote because it's a very meaningful one. And me as the audience, I could have grasped it a lot more better. Also, I noticed when you started your speech and along midway, your eye contact, I think you were searching around somewhere. It looked very, very alarming because your hand gestures are moving, darling. It is. Your eye contact was all over the place. So I was actually trying to wonder, is this girl trying to find someone in her Zoom lens? Or is this her nervousness playing out in her eyes? So this is a tricky thing we need to actually pay attention when we are online. Next is also the way you concluded. As you chose a very powerful quote like that, your conclusion could have been tied in a lot more better. And I felt that when you pick a topic as reflection and you're using it as a reference for a tool, a powerful tool that is, anything with power comes with pros and cons. And if you would have weighed down the pros and cons of reflection, because reflection is not all good, too much reflection is also bad. You could have spoken of that and tied it beautifully in for a more impactful conclusion. In your next speeches, as you journey on, this is my challenge to you. I sincerely would like to see you stay more composed and bring in the comfort of humor into your speech, because, darling, anything that's rigid is never attractive. With that said, I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you complete your presentation mastery really soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what you call a motivational speech in the disguise of evaluation. Thank you, Toshmaster Sajira. Do we have Uma back in the room?
Oh yes, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yes. Go ahead.
Toastmaster Mufaro. Wow, what a speech it is. Toastmaster Mufaro, today, as an evaluator, I'll be sharing with you 3 areas that I completely love with your speech and 2 areas for improvements, if I may suggest that we could look together and work in together. Toastmaster Mufaro, let's get started. The first thing, I completely love your structure. Your speech is very well structured. It has a great opening, body, and conclusion. The moment you have started your speech with a quote, it has instantly, my brain tells me that, hey, Uma, look, Mufaro has something very important to tell to you. That is very interesting and catchy way. Good job. Toastmaster Mufaro, the second area that I completely love with your speech is that your personal research experience that you could able to incorporate with the speech. You have, for example, when you have been talking about the babies and the feast, you have told us that how your personal research on this feast, and it has contributed to the world changer topic that you have been sharing with us. That is very beautifully done. Keep it up. The third would be your body language. I could see that you are moving your both hands, and they have definitely added value to your entire speech. Toastmaster Mufaro, trust me, you are a natural speaker because your body language is just flowing and it's very natural for you. Keep it up. Very well done. Toastmaster Mufaro, the 2 areas that, if I may suggest, would be your eye contact. Toastmaster Mufaro, when I'm looking at you, I could see that you're looking somewhere to your left. I believe that's the position where you could see yourself on this virtual screen. Toastmaster Mufaro, I completely understand this situation whereby we get distracted or deviated when we could see our own self on the screen. And my one trick to you would be just try to hide yourself in that screen when you are talking. And that's the way that we could practice ourselves to look directly into the camera hole. And I believe by doing this, I could feel more connected to your speech throughout. And the last point would be your screen size. Toastmaster Mufaro, as I've mentioned, your body language is amazing. However, it has constricted movements as your screen size is very little. So my suggestion to you would be just kick your chair, just get up, get the stacks of books, put it under your laptop, and try to just stand and deliver your speech like how you used to talk to people. Yeah, by this way, you could definitely make me more connected to you. Toastmaster Mufaro, overall, it has been a great speech. You have a great structure, body language, and also the personal story. And just work a little on the eye contact and also on the screen size. You would be an amazing international speaker. Trust me. Back to you.